What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the opening pair. Tonight, we've got another edition of The Art of Conversation. As you can see, unfortunately, my partner in crime, Mr. Keith Kilduff, is not here. But not to worry, we've brought in a very special guest, interprovincial cricketer, and the apple of Mullingar's eye at the moment, Mr. Fionn Hand. Fionn, how are you?
Oh, hi lads. Thanks for having me on. Really excited about
No.
this. Yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, we're happy to have you here, and maybe get a few awkward questions out of you, a few funny answers, and
Yeah.
see where we go.
Put the mockers on
Um,
me.
yeah, exactly. But so look, we'll get started, and I suppose the best way is what we'll do is we get into a bit of a quick fire, one word answer, I suppose, of your favorite bits and pieces from just outside of cricket and maybe with inside as well.
Yeah, perfect.
First of all, I'm going to ask you your favorite Netflix series. What are you watching at the moment?
I don't really watch Netflix, but if I was, I'd probably be watching Drive to Survive.
Yeah,
Series
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it's quality stuff.
F1.
Quality stuff.
Yeah. Oh, class. Top
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. Your favorite pastime outside of sports?
Oh, probably singing in the shower or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'd say singing. Don't mind a bit of karaoke out there, you know.
Not bad. Okay, right. That's something I didn't expect. That. Obviously, you're an athlete, but this one might be a trickier one for you. But your favorite takeaway?
Chinese.
Nice. Anything in
Hopefully the
particular?
coaches aren't watching.
Yeah.
I like maybe like a salt and chili chicken, egg fried rice does me with a bit of satay sauce maybe. Can't beat
Solid
it.
effort. Yeah.
Not before a game or leading up to
No,
games. No,
We will not
never.
condone that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a slightly cricket-based one for you. So, heads or tails when you're doing a toss?
Tails never fails. Has to be. It's done me well. It does me good.
Fair enough.
Head so far, so keep it that.
And bat or ball first?
Bat first.
Yes.
You have to get these my big limbs on me. I have to get them warmed up. It takes me 20 or 50 hours depending on the match.
Yeah.
But a few extra stretches in there does.
Yeah. So I suppose we stuck into things. Where did it kind of all begin for you with cricket in general? Like what was the starting point for you?
A bit of a weird one. Usually back in the day, North County had a pretty strong team. And I went to school in Ballardry National School, and a few of them players would come in, coach us cricket throughout the summer per se, and sort of just asked us over from there. And a few of my friends got into it, and sort of just went from there. Didn't really bat or bowl. Then, tricky enough, when I got to 11, 12, I was playing football for Home Farm since I was 7. But then I got to about 12, and football would have been my winter sport from September all the way through to April, May time, and then you'd play Gaelic from then on. And I actually got banned from Gaelic, and I had nothing really else to do. I tried golf, picked up golf. My friends were really good at golf, but I was no good, at no patience, and I just ended up playing cricket. I had something to do during the summer, like especially in Ireland, it wouldn't be a very common thing.
No, it's an interesting journey that you had. So you kind of took the long route, but you got there in the end.
Yeah,
I suppose.
I remember in primary school days. Remember in primary school days playing like Leprechaun Cup sort of thing.
Right.
Good, very good team in Ballardry, and I was sort of just the addition, I'd say, like just the field pretty much.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have had a clue either, like batting or bowling. So I was sort of making up the numbers at that point. So
yeah.
Had such a good team. So
it's it just stuck with you then from there. And I suppose like you stuck at it, but like it was you probably had a number of different coaches, but who was kind of the first person that really took you under their wing and showed you the ropes?
Absolutely. 2 coaches actually. Mine coach at the time was David Russell, and someone that definitely took me under their wing was Eddie Richardson from North County. I still stay in touch with him to this day. Any issues, any problem technically, he usually gives out to me for doing something that I shouldn't be doing all the time. Especially now the games are live streamed, so
Yeah.
he doesn't miss anything.
There's no
He doesn't
escape.
miss anything.
Yeah.
No escape.
Yeah.
But definitely, yeah, probably more Eddie Richardson, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So you kind of started to show, I suppose, signs of progress, and you're making signs of moving forward. But the question I wanted to ask you was, at what point did you start to kind of realize I can play this at a really, really high level, or a reasonably high level?
You got me on that question, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Was there a point of just like, yeah,
I think like any. It was sort of I love having a challenge. So I started playing first senior cricket fifths in North County, and then it was sort of a challenge to try and get up to teams
yeah,
as quick as possible.
yeah,
How quick can I get to playing first? And I think I was like 15, 16 when I started playing first, like
right, wow,
regularly. And
yeah,
as a 15, 16-year-old, it was first on a Saturday, and then you're playing second team on a Sunday. So you're playing cricket all weekend, no
yeah.
getting away from it.
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of, as you see, you're at that point, you're sort of sinking or swimming. You're either getting through it or you're
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. So I suppose, yeah, as we said, like you kind of had an accelerated journey to the senior team, but was there anything that kind of made you think, yeah, my other outside distractions would say, when you get a bit older, that like you kind of have to fend them off, or were you just motivated just from yourself anyway?
I think overall, I tried to play as many sports as possible. And in fairness, my parents, they let me play every sport I could, except skiing, because they just said that was too dangerous for me. But anything with a ball and a bat
Yeah,
was just me. I was a visual learner, so I just picked it up pretty most sports pretty quickly.
and I noticed as well. You went over to England when you were reasonably young to college, and you were playing Somerset seconds and stuff like that. So you're obviously, you'd made that big move. That was obviously very,
Mm.
you know. It's a big thing to move away from home. I suppose it's a scary thing at that age.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think when I first went on, I absolutely loved it, and fortunate enough, I got asked to come back and with an academic and sports scholarship, and it was definitely definitely grew my maturity quickly because I was on
Yeah,
my own. I had to grow my independence sort of from there. Like even going through the airport by yourself is sort of a
yeah,
big thing when you first do it, but then
yeah,
a lot of things like that would just on your day-to-day basis, you have to get to class on time. There's no one telling you there what to do. You have to sort of push yourself. Especially when I first started, I didn't really know anyone, so it was sort of like I can be quiet. I can just get on with my work, or I can soak this in, get to know a lot of people very quickly, and I ended up playing rugby and to know all the rugby lads, and then next of all, I knew pretty much everyone in the school, or they knew me from rugby
yeah,
per se.
yeah. And is it a pathway that you recommend to someone else coming up at that age? It's outstanding, and to head away.
Absolutely, it's definitely a game changer when you see the opportunities in the likes of England, the facilities there,
Mm.
the coaching standard, the playing standard definitely brings the best out of it. And I definitely recommend any young people today, especially the option. Not many countries have the option of transition here in Ireland, so
Yeah,
definitely a thought to get away
yeah.
during them times, and you get to know loads of people. I'm still in touch with many people from England today.
And you had a spell in Australia as well, and it's probably another experience completely, different conditions, and again, you're in England, you're an hour away from home, whereas in Australia, you're
Yeah,
literally a day away. It's
yeah.
another level again.
Yeah, absolutely. I came home from England start of September 2018, and I got asked by uh, one of the guys did I want to come to Australia, and I was like absolutely.
Yeah,
I actually found it difficult to be home again because I was away for so long,
yeah,
and I'd only be
yeah,
coming back and forth. Like I'd be staying maybe 2 or 3 days, then be back over to England, sort of thing. And I actually
yeah.
was like, oh yeah, if there's ever a time I want to do it, it's probably now. So I
Yeah,
ended up
yeah.
fortunate enough going over to pro for Preston Cricket Club in Melbourne.
Wow.
Luckily to have a fellow Irishman, Owen Delaney, show
Yeah.
me the ropes, and Laura Delaney or Laura Cullen, sorry.
Class, class. You your own little community over there building up
Yeah,
nicely.
yeah. Which I
Um,
was definitely lucky enough, like to show me the ropes. Laura and Owen showed me the ropes
yeah,
tremendously well. I got on
yeah,
great, and I'd definitely do it again, 100%.
yeah, yeah. And I suppose then you said you found it hard to come home, but you did eventually get back to Ireland, and you went up and you were playing your club cricket. And what was the experience like to have been away and come back into the Irish system and to kind of, I suppose, pass on your experiences to the guys around you? How did that play out for you?
It's sort of, I think for myself as a cricketer, I gained a lot of experience talking to a lot of top players in the
Yeah,
world today, even. Just getting that on and trying to pass that down, my knowledge, if the kids listen, that is, of course.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, definitely. There's a lot of players that I definitely just try to take as much information from their brain as like, which I think
yeah,
I've done probably to them giving out to me, I'd say at some
yeah,
points. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, I'd buy them a beer and they'd be happy away to chat. Like,
And I suppose, like as we've seen with you in the last year or so, you've been really kind of starting to make strides in the interprovincial, and I think even in general, the standard seems to be really rising up, and the talent pool is spreading around. What's the buzz like around Ireland now? Like with the competitive nature of the interpros, we've seen it with the IP50 and the IP20. It was close games all across the board. It's fantastic. We finally have this setup now.
I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed the IP this year.
Yeah,
Definitely the IP50, definitely to get it started, especially joining Munster. Not wouldn't say a gel team.
yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
after between festivals, we were training. Then we'd meet up, and then we'd head off back to Derry.
Especially with the bubbles and things like that. Like team bonding sort of thing is even more so important now, I'd imagine.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Especially being away, as obviously being at lads' bubbles and stuff, not being able to go out and
Yeah,
seeing the same people day to day.
yeah,
It was probably a bit more slack, I'd say, for us. So it was a bit easier for us.
yeah,
And I think I've been just really enjoying my cricket. Thanks to Ed and Pete for creating an environment where we can actually enjoy ourselves, but work hard and play well at the end of it.
yeah, yeah. And you obviously you started out your intros with the Lightning, but obviously you're down in Munster. Sort of like, how did that kind of scenario come about, or what was the conversation? Was it obviously it's a Cricket Ireland thing that we're trying to spread it out as much as we can, but in your scenario, what kind of was the conversation that was had?
I think the overall conversation was more opportunity
Mm,
with putting my hand up in games
yeah,
for the team, and I don't think with the Leinster Lightning being so good,
yeah,
them opportunities weren't there. Like I can even see this year, I'm
yeah,
batting four now, whereas maybe before I would be batting nine. Wouldn't
yeah,
really be able to showcase my
yeah,
skills, which probably wouldn't help my cricket develop as such.
absolutely, yeah,
And definitely given like having TK as a captain, obviously I played with him. He gave me
yeah,
my first class cap for Leinster.
yeah,
Obviously you know him very well. Top captain. He backs all the lads in the team, and you can jumble up the order, and they'll
yeah.
still put their work hard and do the job for him.
There's obviously a huge influence. Even you look at the likes of PJ Moore, Curtis Camphor, like these guys coming in, Murray Cummins. Like, how has that been? Like to be mashing around with those guys and seeing that they now see Ireland as a viable option, as a first class career. Basically, it's a huge bonus, I'd imagine, for us.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially I'm lucky enough to play club cricket with PJ, and the knowledge he brings. He's so
Mm.
calm under most situations, and what you get from an experienced Test cricketer. The average
Yeah,
is 36 at
yeah,
Test level, and he sticks his hand up in the Interpros, especially that Leinster game. When we beat them up in Bury, he definitely stuck his hand up there with 95 not out to win us the game.
yeah, yeah. It's massive.
Murray Cummins been absolutely phenomenal with the bat. Such a good batter. Very hard to bowl to in the nets as
I'd
well.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't imagine
The only
so.
thing in the nets is you have to keep running at him, so there's
Right.
no getting away from it.
Yeah, he's
It's the
coming
same.
looking for you, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same with
Yeah,
Curtis. Curtis's his knowledge of bowling is phenomenal. Just
yeah,
hopefully having him back mid on, mid off while you're bowling is it literally he just keep it simple.
yeah,
That's all he gets the message through by basically just keeping it simple, and it actually makes it a lot easier. Takes sort of the
yeah.
pressure off you.
Yeah. He really burst onto the scene last year in that England series, didn't he? He really laid down the marker and then emphasised it again this year with the South Africa series. But I suppose the question I'd ask you as well is, we've gone through a couple of the bigger names and that sort of stuff. But is there anyone coming through that we may not know about that you're seeing this guy in the nets and you're like, Jesus, yeah, he's going to be the next one now that's really going to push on?
Yeah, there's definitely a few a few players in the Munster setup at the moment. Even in me playing Leinster Bolts, there's
Yeah,
some good players coming through. Mitchell Thompson, Gavin Hoey, both wrist spinners, which is what Ireland need at the minute.
yeah,
Um, Seamus Lynch in the Munster side, he's up in the batting.
yeah,
Very good player against Seam anyway.
yeah,
But it's definitely good for you to keep your eyes out, definitely,
yeah, yeah.
and hopefully they can put performances in right, left, and centre and put their hand up.
It's that old saying that a rising tide raises all boats, doesn't it? That competitive
Yeah,
nature in the team pushes you on. But I suppose we can't really talk about Munster Reds without talking about that catch.
oh yeah,
Talk us through that.
I know. Honestly, looking back at it now, trying to think about it, I didn't remember it in the moment. If there was no replay, I don't think I could tell you what happened. And I'd
Wow.
obviously been whacked by
Yeah,
City the
yeah,
previous balls, but
yeah.
you know what? It's not over until it's over.
True,
Um,
true.
you're only as good as your last ball. So,
Yeah, yeah,
honestly, it's the same thing. Just it can happen as a bowler, especially nowadays. It's mostly a
yeah,
batter's game. The ball
yeah,
doesn't do as much. Just once you keep fighting, coming back, that's definitely some advice I'd give to the younger
yeah,
people watching. It's not how you
yeah,
start; it's how you finish. That's how I
yeah.
look at it.
Yeah, it's a very good way of looking at it because, as you say, it definitely does seem to be becoming more and more of a batsman's game. Like, I'm a batsman myself, not a very good one, but you know, I'll admit that it's definitely a batsman's game. But I suppose when we do talk about that catch, that kind of was, I was actually there myself, and that was basically the birth of the Fionn Hand Appreciation Society.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
he was, yeah.
Yeah,
And I think actually the thing that actually, unfortunately, you ended up fielding in front of us. And one of the guys mentioned that the innings you had the 49 off 21 balls, and the reaction we got from you was like, "Red, we've met a friend here now."
yeah,
And it built from there. But you know, that was the thing as well. I was thinking was like you talk about bowling and stuff, and you've obviously done very well with the ball, and you've had that innings as well. What do you see as your stronger suit? Do you see yourself as a batsman who bowls, or vice versa, or is it just any given day? It just whatever comes off.
the thing about being able to bowl and being able to bat is if one goes pear shaped or doesn't go as well, you can always back it up with the other one.
Yeah,
So you put a line through the sand.
yeah.
But I'd probably say bowling.
Okay.
Bowling would definitely be. That's what I'd be looking for. But I'm just trying to keep it simple with the bat, see ball, hit ball, sort of thing. Not trying
Yeah,
to complicate it. Many people in
yeah,
cricket can complicate the game.
yeah,
It's mostly between your ears. So
yeah. There's a lot to be said to be able to just, as you say, keep it clear in your head of what you're doing, what your role is, what your job is, and go out and just execute. Um, but yeah,
but also not feeling under pressure from the camp as well. There's such a there's good vibe around the camp, and as I said before, I'm really enjoying my cricket, and I think that's really helped me
yeah.
perform on the pitch as well.
you say about you're enjoying your cricket and everything, and we've mentioned the Fionn Hand Association. What does it feel like to have a page named after you, and it's giving you send you messages and roaring and shouting at you at games? Like what's that like?
Honestly, it's all time. I'm actually loving it, and the stuff that's put up is very funny.
Yeah.
I'm dreading the day when I get a zero in the game because I know I'll know about it first thing coming on Twitter. I'll definitely know about it.
Uh, I know. I think you've got friends for life now at this
Yeah,
point. And we spoke earlier a bit off air about the Fionn Hand Association, but I think we can't talk about without talking about your mother, Brenda, the absolute legend that she is. And how well she's looked after us. Like we've been treated like royalty up at any of the games we've gone to so far. But how did the conversation go between yourself and her that this page was created for you and it's like what the heck's going on here?
well, it's sort of like on that day against Leinster, it was sort of when you were there having a great time, bringing a bit of atmosphere to the ground. Uh, Obviously, I would have thought we definitely underperformed. So sort of like, the use legends have come out support us and the other teams as well. Why not just get involved as such?
Yeah, yeah,
Because we didn't really put on a show on the pitch, so
yeah,
sort of tried to make it up elsewhere. And
yeah,
thankfully, it's still going to this day. It's
yeah.
great. I absolutely love it. It's great.
Yeah, I think it says a lot though as well for Irish cricket that a gang of lads can go up to Dublin and go and talk to guys like yourself and all the Leinster Viking guys came over to us. A lot of your guys come over. It says a lot of how much of a community that it is that Cricket Ireland is.
Absolutely, yeah, and especially when you boys are in town, the atmosphere in the ground. People around you, they sort of loosen up and they actually start getting involved. Maybe not
Yeah,
straight away, but they as
yeah,
the game goes on, they get involved, and it
yeah,
brings the whole atmosphere around the ground,
yeah,
which
yeah.
will
Kind
obviously
of one.
help the lads
Yeah, I
when
was
they're
just going
under
to
a bit
say.
of pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, one feeds into the other, doesn't it? It was something I just wanted to ask you as well. Is it like, you know, where do you see the future of the IP15, the IP20, with crowds hopefully coming back now with the pandemic starting to ease off a little, and we're seeing more and more competitive games. And do you see the crowd starting to come in? Do you see cricket as a sport now that's getting a little bit more attention?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it to be honest, it filters down from the top once Ireland do well, or like example, beating England
Yeah,
last year, it filters down. Like a lot of other nations would tune into the broadcasting that the lads do, and it just shows that people are actually still interested, no matter where it is in the world. And it's
yeah,
absolutely excellent. Like from the lads doing that, seeing them more on TV against the bigger nations, especially the World Cup coming up. Definitely, people will start to. We have to start somewhere.
yeah,
We have to get the Irish cricket brand out there, and hopefully in a few years, like we'll have more games, more interpros, more international games. On top of
yeah,
that, for more crowds to come home or away, even,
yeah,
and
yeah,
hopefully
yeah, yeah.
produce many more cricketers.
That's it. That's exactly it. That's what it's all about. It's just getting people out and moving and
Yeah,
involved.
yeah,
I don't know if you're watching much of the 100, but that seems to be another. It's more cricket. It's high level cricket. It's creating opportunities then in the Pro 40 in England for maybe guys like yourself that might get a chance to go over there and impress, and then you can push on. But what's I don't know if you've watched much of it, but what's been your takeaway from it so far?
I think the energy behind it, um, like from the commentary team, all the players, there's so much energy being produced from them lads. Maybe they might be overdoing it, but I can definitely
Yeah,
sense it on the TV, and it's absolutely brilliant, making more
yeah,
magic moments happen, and that's what we
yeah.
need for
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
to watch the game. That's women's and
Exactly.
men's cricket as
Yeah,
well.
that's
There's many
yeah,
opportunities with that competition on. There's other places in the county T20 and the Royal London 50 over
yeah,
comp.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
definitely opportunities there for the likes of anyone from the Interpros and the women's Interpros to go over and join up with them. and they can only do it so good.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, eyes on the game in general, and it seems to be a fantastic a brand ambassador for the women's game as well. They're getting the same coverage, the same back in TV time, everything. It's wonderful to see that as well.
Yeah, absolutely great, and it's great to see all the crowds there,
Yeah,
especially during the
yeah.
pandemic. It's not hasn't really been seen that much over last year and a bit, but hopefully more to come with that.
I suppose that kind of leads me into the recent Irish series. The T20s probably didn't quite go so well, unfortunately, but we had a fantastic day in the second ODI, and you were there yourself, and you know you probably played against the vast majority of the guys in the green jersey. But what did you think of that performance? What stood out for you, or who stood out for you more so, I suppose?
Oh, absolutely delighted for the lads. Absolutely chuffed. Like to get 15 points from a possible 25, 30, depending on the way you look at it. But getting 15 points, you definitely take the arm for that
Yeah,
100% before the series. Look,
yeah,
the T20, they're exceptional side. T20 can obviously go one or two ways, no matter it's just on the day, and they are so good, and they have so many good players that they can bring in into the squad and out, and it wouldn't really affect the strength of their team at all.
yeah. That's exactly it. You know, you seen when they were leaving Quinton de Kock on the sideline, and then he came in and as if he was never away,
Yeah,
just you know like a duck to water. But um, we. We had the issue a while ago, I suppose, of the golden generation sort of starting to step away. But there's guys coming through like the likes of Josh Little and Harry Tector, and you know the future is very exciting, very bright. But even on the other side of it, you even see William Porterfield is still there. He's still knocking away, getting his runs, and you know so what kind of balance do you see going forward? Do you think these guys are going to stick in there, or do you think the younger guys are someone else going to come through now? Or
oh, it's great to see Porterfield still going. He's
yeah,
definitely, you come into when you're coming into ball, you're looking down the other end like, oh,
yeah,
where am I going to ball this ball?
yeah,
You could put me anywhere in the stadium. Same as
yeah,
Paul Sterling.
yeah,
You just don't know what's going to happen, and it's maybe when you're not bowling, it's very exciting when you're not bowling. But yeah, if you are bowling and it goes out of the ground, you're just in awe, I would say, when it
yeah,
happens, because yeah, it happens so quick.
yeah.
If you miss by an inch or a millimeter, it's gone.
Yeah, yeah, and you've kind of been in and around the guys with the Wolves and sort of thing, the A tours and stuff like that. And you know, what was that experience? Were you nervous? You know, going over with these guys and training with them every day, or were you just excited, or what was the mindset?
Not really. I think it's a more of an opportunity to meet for me to see where I am with my game, and it's
Yeah,
at the end of the day, the way I'd look at it is it's basically a trial. Even if I'm
yeah,
bowling in the nets, if I bowl well in the nets,
yeah,
then I'm obviously hitting my areas, and obviously making the batsman play false shots. That's the
yeah,
way I
yeah,
would
yeah,
look at it. I'm not a person to feel pressure really. I usually want the pressure moments. I usually
yeah,
want to bowl at the death. I usually want to bowl up top, or I usually want to go in when we need 20 to win off
yeah,
5, 6 balls. You
yeah.
never know. You never know what's going to happen.
I suppose that's probably the difference between the normal club cricketer and the interprovincial is that you see those opportunities as opportunity,
Yeah,
whereas someone else would wilt under that pressure. You actually want that. You crave it almost.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do like striving on that sort of pressure, as you'd
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah,
But you have nothing to lose. If it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off. We probably weren't in really with a shout anyway. But if it comes
yeah,
off, there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
You've just turned the screws there.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that because what's coming to my mind is an interview with Johnny Wilkinson years ago when he kicked the drop goal in the World Cup final. And someone asked him, like, you know, geez, were you not really scared to take the chance? He goes, why would I? Like, if I score, I'm a hero. If I miss, well, we're still going to extra time anyway. You know,
Yeah.
why would I not want that chance to be a hero?
Absolutely, yeah. And you know what, like that drop kick, he's made a name for himself. Everyone will
Yeah,
say Johnny Wilkinson that just from that one moment.
yeah,
It's all about
yeah,
these one or two moments
yeah,
can make like a whole career for you. Honestly,
like
it's bizarre. It's honestly
like a
bizarre.
superb caught and ball.
Yeah, exactly. I have people from Australia getting in touch saying this is outrageous and whatnot. But
And I was just talking about your career and everything else. What's the day-to-day routine, I suppose, of yourself, for instance, as an interprovincial cricketer who's playing club cricket in Dublin? Kind of how do you set out your week, or do you have a routine, or what ways does it work?
yeah, I'd say every player is different.
Yeah,
Coming out of a interprovincial series and then having a big gap with club cricket is obviously
yeah,
trying to bring the level that we had in the intros down to club cricket. That would be what I would be trying to do.
yeah,
With my club, trying to
yeah,
bring their standards up and my standard,
yeah,
not dropping my standards when they go to club cricket. Like be sort of role models. This year, I'd really wanted to work hard, train hard. Let's see the kids that I coach looking at me coming in before I coach them. I'm after hitting 4,000 balls or whatever it
yeah,
was,
yeah,
and then going out and doing it in the interpros, and then they sort of look up to that, saying, "Geez,
yeah,
he's doing the work,
yeah,
and it's paying off in the end."
yeah,
Now it might not always pay off, but eventually it will.
yeah.
Eventually, if you keep at it, it will.
Yeah, and because you mentioned to me when I actually messaged you to come on that you're doing a good bit of coaching and stuff, and talk me through that. Like, how does that schedule go for you?
Oh, every day in coaching,
Right.
in Clontarf, yeah, every day, doing camps, one-to-ones, group sessions, all different ages, girls and boys. I probably struggled with it at the start. Oh, I'm not really a how experienced coach, but I sort of
Yeah,
found my feet two,
yeah,
3 weeks in, and I've actually really started to enjoy coaching. I would usually look as a coach as they've had the experience and
yeah,
they're sort of simmering at the back stages of their career, whereas I'm just starting my
yeah,
career. But actually thinking about it, I have a lot of experience that I can
yeah,
share, and I could
yeah,
pick
yeah,
up things very quickly from every like different individuals and stuff, and what can they do better. But obviously not really coaching for. I wouldn't be a coach like to coach through the manual as such, because you
yeah,
sort of just have to let them play. And you
yeah,
look at Steve Smith, no one's going to really coach him that. Jack
yeah,
Brummer, if we were 20 years ago, people would say you're not allowed to do that. You have to
yeah,
do it back
yeah,
to the basics sort of thing.
yeah.
So the game's definitely evolved, and there's no book of doing it, and there's no right way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I suppose, are you noticing now that there's a wider or a larger number of participants now with cricket? Like, is it becoming, obviously football and rugby are probably the biggest sports in GAA, of course, but
Absolutely.
are you noticing now that there's more of a pull, I suppose, for cricket?
Absolutely. I've actually been lucky enough, just at the start of the summer, going to primary schools
Yeah,
and playing fun games with second, third, fourth, fifth class in schools. And you might not know a lot about cricket, but a lot of them play hurling, which is the same
yes,
transfer skill. And
yeah,
I have to say, I'm actually in awe
yeah,
of looking at some players
yeah,
at that age being able to strike the ball. If we convert them, or maybe let them play both, we could be we could be in for a shock when we in 10, 15
yeah.
years time.
Yeah, they just seem to be so risky to be able to hit the ball into different areas. It's amazing to
Yeah.
see it. Just that
All I
hand-eye
do,
coordination.
I just get them to switch their hands, and then they're
Yeah,
they're a cricketer. It's as
yeah,
simple as that. It's
yeah,
honestly, every time I see it, I'm in awe. I just can't
yeah.
believe it.
I suppose, like, we do a bit of coaching here, but for me anyway, I don't know if you feel the same or not, but there's nothing like that buzz you get of seeing a kid maybe struggling with technique or whatever, and you just give them a little hint or a tip, and they all of a sudden they get it, and it's just, you can't buy that feeling of, oh God, I've helped him do that, or it's fantastic.
And it's a feeling of, oh, I'm a good coach. As soon as you see
Yeah,
the results as well as a coach, you're sort of
yeah,
like, geez, I didn't think that would work, but it's gone
yeah,
off, and I look like
yeah.
a gun now.
Yeah. It's amazing to see that, just the joy that it can bring to them as well, that they get it,
Yeah,
and that you've kind of just
and there's lots of different ways you can learn as well. So most kids would be visual learners, and when they see the end result, you're
Yes.
it sort of just clicks in their brain.
Yeah, so I suppose that we've kind of covered the cricket career and the path so far, and I did a small I did a small bit of research on you, and I came across that you've a budding modelling career going as well.
I wouldn't say that. I don't know where you'd found that.
But talk us through how did you manage to get your toe dipped into that? Or was it just something on the side, or?
I actually done something St. Patrick's Day a few years ago. I modelled for a few suit company, and then
Right.
just sort of got into it. I didn't really get into it. I just sort of just put my name down, and it sort of came through. And yeah, other than that, yeah, I wouldn't be going out looking for it. But if there's anyone that thinks to model, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And do you get a kick out of it? Like, did you enjoy it when you did it, or was it a nerve-wracking thing? Or
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
yeah,
It's like honestly, it was like it was sort of like the first time when I went on stage for a musical sort of thing, and I was like, I would never do this. And I was fortunate enough to do it when I was in school in England, and had the time of my life pretty much every Saturday morning rehearsing. It was so funny, like, and
yeah.
just from there, I sort of just didn't really become that shy.
Could we possibly see down the line so that the cricket career is parked and the modelling career takes off, or is it just going to always be cricket?
I'm known for multitasking, so hopefully I can juggle both at the same time if the offers are there.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
As you say though, you spoke earlier when you were younger. You played multiple sports and you had other interests, and you see it with a lot of guys that get burnt out, like the top
Yeah,
level sportsmen, and when their career is over, they've nothing to kind of go into, and they struggle. But like have you thought that far ahead that you've not a plan in place as such, but you have other irons in the fire, I suppose.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm mad into business, the business side of the world,
Yeah.
stocks, that sort of line of work. And I've been fortunate to do a lot of like have a lot of opportunities in that sort of sector, which
Right.
I've thoroughly enjoyed, and it's definitely something I'm going to do. Like for this September, I'm going to start in DCU doing marketing, innovation, and technology. So I'm
Okay. Right.
definitely always looking to better myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's a plan B. It's just something I can do alongside cricket.
Yeah. You seem the type of guy that you're focused on your main goal, but you're also aware that if this doesn't, or it's still no harm to have another
Absolutely.
fallback or whatever you want to call it. But is that something you always had an interest in, or was it just something you developed an interest in?
Always had an interest in
Okay.
business, which fortunate enough. But there's definitely a lot of other things that I want to do, such as flying. I want to learn how to fly. So just
Wow.
sort of stuff like that. I've got mini
Yeah.
goals that I've
Yeah.
written down, and like just do as many things as you can, really, while you're still able to.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I suppose, like, just before we do wrap up, because I'm conscious of time, I don't want to be. I know you probably have a lot on. You've a lot of coaching and a lot of training to do tomorrow, and
Oh no.
the treadmill starts again. But one thing I always kind of ask guests when they come on is, what's the one bit of advice or the one motto that you have been given or that you kind of go by, and in turn also, what would be the one bit of advice or motto that you would pass on?
The one bit of advice, I was in sixth class, and a guardie came in to speak to us about road safety and all about your helmet, wear your helmet, make sure you have lights on your bikes, bells. And after that chat, at the end of it, he said, "It's nice to be nice, and it doesn't cost anything." And I've
Yeah,
sort of lived by that saying since that moment. It's nice to be
yeah,
nice, and it doesn't cost anything.
yeah. Isn't it crazy how just something like that just sticks in your head and it
Yeah,
carries it on? Like
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure you've probably given a word of advice to someone along the line. You probably didn't think anything of it. Maybe in 10 years' time they'll come back to you and say, "Oh, Fionn said this to me," and it just stuck in my head. It's just a thing. It's a thing that I always want to ask somebody, because I was the same when I was younger. Someone said to me something similar, that treat people how you'd like to be treated yourself, and it's just something that always stuck with me. And it's just you can tell in the person how they've been influenced by, say, an experience like that.
Absolutely. I do. I definitely would pass on that piece of advice. Like, it's just life's too short. Like, especially like the last years, people have like, geez, I
Yeah,
don't even know what I'm doing. Like, so it's
yeah,
definitely just living in the moment, be nice, try and make people laugh, and not much can go wrong from there, I hope.
yeah, yeah. No, look, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on. We've had a bit of crack. We've went a bit deep as well, but we've had a bit of fun. Just before we do wrap up, I just want to say, guys, please like, subscribe, share. We're a growing channel on YouTube. The Opening Pair. I'm at Kyle Gavin. Obviously, Fiona's there at Fionn Hand on Twitter and Instagram. If any modelling agencies are out there or anything like that, looking for
Yeah,
someone to do a bit of modelling for them, he's there available. There's also the Fionn Hand Appreciation Society. Give that a follow. There's a bit of fun to be had there as well. But no, look, just before we do wrap up, I would say thank you once again. Really enjoyed the chat. It's fantastic if you're giving up your evening, and look, we hopefully have you on again in the future.
absolutely. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed that, and hands down to the FHAS. Unbelievable.
Brilliant,
Unbelievable.
brilliant.
Thanks
Really
very
appreciate
much.
it. Have
Thank
a
you
good
very
evening.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you.